All right, Mr. Littles. First of all, just want to thank you for doing this. Um, been working with you for a little while now with your case,
Yeah.
but um, a couple years,
Yeah, it's been a few years.
in a few years.
Few years.
You and your daughter are housed now,
Yeah.
doing much better than you were before. Um, so if I could just start by asking you, what brought you to the attention of the child welfare system, your family to the attention?
Well, apparently, you know, she had she got pregnant, and what happened was we was homeless on the streets, and for some reason she tested positive for methamphetamine at one of her doctor appointments, prenatal appointments, and that's what got us on radar on Child Protective Services.
So she was the baby. She tested positive, but was the baby born yet?
No.
Okay, so they were just testing
Yeah,
her
they were just testing.
when she was going for a checkup.
Yeah.
And so, at that point, child welfare had been alerted, or were you kind of around when the checkups were happening?
Yeah, I was kind of when the checkups were happening, but I wasn't there when she went out and used.
Okay.
You know, she had left me, and it was a toxic relationship from the jump. You know.
What do you mean by that? Was there a domestic violence involved?
Yeah, there was a lot of domestic violence involved, and what happened was when it was time, she went into labor, and what they did was they kept her in the hospital until she had the baby, to make sure that you know, the baby didn't have no drugs in it or something. And we was arguing in the hospital, constantly arguing and everything, and that's what they really called Child Protective Services, when they saw the verbal abuse that we was
Going back and
going
forth.
back and forth.
And the baby was born already, or
Yeah,
because she went
was
into
yeah, she was on her way.
she was on her way, and you guys were arguing
Yeah, but
while she was in labor.
she was in the hospital for about 2 weeks. So doing
In
that,
labor.
not in labor, yeah, pretty much in labor, yeah.
So it was
Yeah,
a difficult pregnancy.
Yeah, it was a difficult pregnancy.
Okay. Did they let you know that they notified?
Did they let us know? Actually, they called the social worker in, and we was talking, and then Harrietta started arguing with the social worker. So they decided that since we was homeless, there's domestic violence involved, and the dirty test, they decided to keep the child in the hospital. Taking the foster care from there.
And how'd that go? Did the worker come down and let you guys know what they were doing, or?
Kind of, sort of. We didn't really see it coming.
Okay.
You know, because at first they let her keep it, because when Erica was born, she didn't have no drugs in her system, because I guess because of the time that we spent in the hospital.
Right.
Yeah. So there was no drugs. It turns out there wasn't drugs in the baby's system. So they let her keep her, and she went to a program, and then left the program and left the baby.
Okay. They told her to get into a program,
Yeah.
but you can't take the baby right now.
Yeah.
But if you get into a program,
They
we
give
could
it to
place the baby with you.
Yeah.
All right. So that kind of makes sense, because that might have been around the time that I got involved.
I was just about to
They was
remind you of that.
referred to
Yeah.
families moving forward,
Yeah.
and that was the housing piece. Okay. I didn't meet you till a little bit later. Maybe. Yeah. I think you came in. The baby got placed with her, I think, by that time.
Yeah.
At that residential treatment place.
Yeah.
Forgot the name of that one. Do you remember the name of that?
Epiphany.
Epiphany House.
Epiphany.
And then you came to one of those meetings.
Mm-hmm.
How did that feel for you? I think when, because that was your first meeting. I remember how you looked. you didn't look too confident about, because I mean, was it, how'd you feel? I never asked you that.
I didn't really know how I felt. I didn't know what was going on, because I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know what this was really all about. Only thing
Yeah.
I know is that I got involved in fatherhood group. Well, you offered me to go to fatherhood group.
That day I offered you to go to fatherhood
Yeah.
group, right?
So
Well, I remember the positive things that were going on with you is you were actually in residential treatment already. You were further along
yeah, I was
with
further
your
along.
residential treatment.
Yeah, I was further along. I got a treatment that right after they, right before the court date, I actually went and I got in the program the same day. Before the court date, I was already in treatment.
So something inside of you, without anybody telling you, you kind of knew that.
Yeah, I knew
Let me
get myself together because you can't raise no child on no drugs.
So yeah, something already went off in you where you said, I'm gonna take care of myself.
Yeah.
And you had a little bit of insight, like that you're at some point your name's gonna be called. And
Oh yeah.
okay. Well, shoot, man, that's a big deal, man. I commend you for that. I remember that. And then you started coming to the fatherhood group. So I'll fast forward you a little bit because, or I'm gonna summarize a little bit. So Henrietta had a little bit more difficulty in program.
Yeah, it did.
And I forgot, was the baby removed from her care again?
Yeah, because she relapsed, and that's when
At the residential.
after residential treatment, and that's when she went into foster care.
How'd that feel for you?
I was mad. I was upset. I thought that this was going to be okay, and that we was going to get ourselves together, and this and that. And apparently that didn't happen.
Right. That was hard.
Yeah, it was hard.
I remember this because at some point in the case, we started, or CPS and the worker started looking at you
Oh yeah.
for placement.
Yeah. Well, they found out because from a previous case that I had a DV.
Right.
Yeah, I had.
There was a
restraining order that was in place for me and the mom.
The restraining order was in place.
Yeah.
Before the CPS case.
CPS case. Yeah, and they found out. So I had to go do groups and stuff, and
52 weeks?
52 weeks.
And you completed that.
Yeah, I completed that.
So this is kind of unique. You kind of expressed this to me, but I think it would be good for the audience to know too. When you were involved in the domestic violence before the CPS case, you pled guilty to the charges.
Yeah.
And can you talk about that a little bit, like how that kind of rolled out? Because you expressed to me that you just went ahead and pled, but it wasn't necessarily. You didn't feel like it was all you either, though.
Yeah. Well, I shouldn't have put my hands on her for number one.
Yeah. So you did physically.
Yeah, I did physically, put my hands on her, But, something I learned from.
So you kind of knew that you needed to take care of. You wanted to help with the 52 weeks, whatever that was going to do, or
Yeah, well, I did, but see, I was in program at first. I was supposed to do the classes, and I wouldn't do it because we were still homeless on the streets. It was when I got a program to where I started doing the the work to get off of it.
And that's Walden House Health Right 360.
Yeah, 890.
So fast forward, CPS case is open. You're in Health Right 360. You're doing 52 weeks. So you're actively doing those classes.
Mm-hmm.
Henrietta's in the residential treatment, but she's having some issues.
Yeah.
And baby gets placed in foster care because she relapses.
She realized I left the baby in the program.
You meet me. You're going to fatherhood group. You got the 52 weeks. Mm-hmm. Did you have to do a parenting class? Or
Yeah.
You did that.
Yeah,
did you do that with Miss Bernadine? Or?
Yeah, I did that with Miss Bernadine. And also at 890.
And you did another parenting class over there.
Yeah.
So you're working on yourself.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you also still holding the idea that you guys are going to be a family. You still have some hope there.
Yeah, I still have some. During that time, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you visiting? Do you have your visits yet dialed in with? How long did it take for you to get visits with Erica?
It didn't take long at all. I started doing visits as soon as they offered me the services. Child Protection offered me the services, and then they started having me go visit Erica at the YMCA.
So they would bring Erica to you. Now, how old is she when they're bringing her to you?
Oh, she was a tiny thing, man. She was about 1.5. No, she wasn't. She wasn't even that. She was a baby.
Like 2 months, 3 months.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, she was about.
So you're in the visiting room and they're bringing you a little baby.
Yeah.
The mom is not there with you.
No.
You're doing these visits by yourself.
Yeah, I'm doing it by myself because during that time, there still was an active restraining order.
So the visits had to be separate.
Yeah, the visits had to be separate.
So how was that for you? Because I'm just thinking about it. Here's this little baby, and they give you a bottle, and what are you doing at the visit?
Pretty much just holding her, playing with her, feeding her.
Wow.
I mean.
Did you feel intimidated? Because is there people watching you?
Yeah, there was a lady behind the desk with a little computer at first.
Yeah.
Yeah, at first, No, it didn't intimidate me at all.
Did you already have experience with babies and things like that? Or
kind of, sort of, but, I had to learn. I just had to learn, as I go.
Yeah.
You
have to change her and stuff at the visits?
Yeah, I had to change her and stuff, But I lived around a bunch of kids, so I with my other baby's mama when I was with her, as they ran a daycare, so I was pretty much always there.
So you already had, yeah.
Yeah, kind of like know how to change a diaper. Plus my 15-year-old daughter had to change her diaper, so.
Right.
So I had a little experience in it,
So you're getting sober.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when you started your visits, about how much sobriety time did you have? Do you remember?
It was like a few months.
Few months sober.
Yeah.
Been in residential treatment.
Treatment.
Okay. So I remember, I'm gonna kind of fast forward and summarize. I remember us working really hard because the housing services was really focused on the
Yeah,
mother
yeah,
and Henrietta, and we were doing a lot of things to get her back into Epiphany and all these things,
yeah. I remember that.
and it wasn't working. And at some point, we shifted the case for the housing services
To me,
to be focused on you,
yeah,
um, which was a big deal. Um, and Health Right 360 was not licensed for you to have a child there.
no, it wasn't. So, and how I got her was, I was there for about 10 months, and
You were at your residential treatment for about 10 months.
about 10 months, and it was when she relapsed and stuff, and she was in foster care and everything, and it was time for me to graduate. So they said if I get into a family shelter or something like that, then they'll give her to me.
And what shelter did we get you into? Was that Holloway?
Yeah,
or
it was
that-
Holloway House.
Okay. So we moved you to a transitional house,
Yeah,
and Erica got placed with you.
yeah, yeah. That's exactly what happened. Yeah.
And right. And at this point, at your 10-month mark at Walden House, and we're already, the conversation's taking place about you. I think there was a lot of concerns of Henrietta's, the mother's mental health, and also the relapses.
Yeah.
And so they're looking at you and placing with you. I don't remember what the conversation was like about just you going to Holloway House, but I remember it was an issue because we had expressed to you that, or the department as well expressed to you that Henrietta could not come to Holloway House. It was just for you and Erica.
Yeah, well, during that time, there was still that active restraining order.
Right. We were talking about that. Maybe she could come there.
Yeah, but she couldn't because there was still an active restraining order, and plus she still had to do program.
She just did not do any program. She wasn't sober.
Well, she got into another program.
She was trying, but she wasn't very successful.
No. You know.
That's hard, man.
Yeah, it was hard.
How'd you deal with, you got the baby and the mother of your child's not doing so well? How'd you deal with that emotion and,
Well, she actually went to a program completed, and what happened was we tried it one more time to raise it together, and it seemed like when I let her into the house, it went right back to the same old thing, yelling and screaming in front of the child and all this and all that, and I had to let her pretty much move. And
yeah, so you're fast forwarding. So we moved you to a transitional house, but then we found housing for you in Oakland.
In Oakland.
And at this point, the department is giving you full legal and physical custody.
Yeah.
Because she didn't really complete anything.
No.
But it was up to you to decide for her to move in with you at that house.
Yeah.
So you tried it.
I tried it again to see.
And there was an imbalance in the house.
It was just imbalanced. You know what I'm saying?
Because you had done all this work.
Yeah, I've done all the work and stuff, but she started trying to bring drugs in the house and all this and all that. So what happened was I had to have her leave.
You also mentioned to me she was verbally abusive
to the child, to Erica. Yeah, she was. You know what I'm saying? And it got to a point to where if I had to make the decision, either she's going to be around or she's not going to be around. So what I did was she had to leave.
Yeah. Um. And how old is Erica at this time?
Erica was about 2.
By this time, yeah.
Yeah, she was about 2 years old.
Yeah. Man, that's a lot. And so the whole time you're also at this time you're done with the 52 weeks.
Oh yeah, I was done with the 52 weeks.
You,
Got the restraining order lifted.
the restraining order is lifted now,
Yeah.
or was it lifted yet?
Yeah, it was already lifted.
Okay.
Yeah.
And but now that you're doing all this work, you're noticing that she's abusive.
Yeah, she was real abusive. I couldn't understand why. You know, she just I realize now she just wasn't ready to be a mother. You know.
Right. And also you about so when you have the you got your housing in Oakland, about how much sobriety time do you have at that point?
I think I had about. Well, she was 2, so I had 2 years and
2 years and some months. Yeah.
Months.
Could you started residential while she was, or when she was born, or
right after she was born, and when I knew that Child Protective Services was going to take her, I went and got a program that day.
Okay.
You know,
So
before the court
basically,
date.
your sobriety time is kind of aligned with when Erica was born.
Yeah.
However old she is how much?
Yeah, for a few months.
By a few months. Okay. So you completed all the services. The child's placed with you. You're recognizing that mom is not ready, and that's hitting you.
Yeah.
And at this point, you kind of noticing that you might be doing this thing on your own.
Yeah.
Or are you still holding some kind of hope there?
No, I'm not holding no hope now. You know, she's going to do what she want to do. You know.
So you're starting to let go, but you're also starting to kind of frame that this is going to be difficult for your daughter, not having her mother.
Well, she calls on the phone. I would let her speak to her over the phone, but as far as coming here, she don't. You know, that's not happening.
Yeah.
You know.
So you're done with all the court mandated services, but I know that you were continuing to go to fatherhood group.
Yeah, I still go to I still go to fatherhood group.
Was that helpful to you?
Yeah, very helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I felt like I wasn't by myself. You know.
Hearing from other dads.
Yeah, hearing from other dads and their problems and stuff.
I remember you showing up with Erica too. You was one of the only dads, or one of a couple dads that would show up.
Oh yeah, with
your stroller and everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Stroller days are done.
Yeah, sometimes. You know, she's gotten out the stroller now.
So I'm gonna close up a little bit, but I wanted to ask you, what was most helpful to you when you were going through this process? You know, like, cause it sounded like you're a self-starter and you had insight that you needed to get into a program, but what was most helpful to you? You know,
during this whole ordeal.
Yeah, just throughout.
That would be the fatherhood groups, because I was, going to it faithfully, and I got support from it, a lot of support from it.
Yeah. And so the other side of that coin is what was um, a barrier to you, or what was something that was in your way? Was there anything that was difficult for you
During this whole process,
during the whole process? Yeah.
wondering what her mother was going to be doing and stuff like that. I had to realize that I couldn't be her counselor. You know, so that was the biggest obstacle. Wondering what's going to happen next.
Just dealing with that whole piece.
Yeah, dealing with
mental health, substance abuse.
Yeah.
Someone that you were intimate with, and you're doing work, and you guys used to be on the same train, and all of a sudden, you're going a whole nother route.
Yeah, I went a whole nother route.
So you had a lot of social workers.
Oh yeah.
You had the ER worker, court dependency unit worker, the FSU worker, and then case transferred around.
Yeah.
Was that difficult for you, like having different workers and?
Actually, no, not really, because I was doing all the right things, you know. So it was like they didn't really, you know.
So you had good experience with.
Yeah, I have.
Would you say overall?
Overall, I mean, you know, there's some things, you know, you call, they don't call you back for a few days or something, but other than that, yeah, I mean, I haven't had any problems with none of my workers because, like I said, I was doing everything that was required to do.
Right.
You know?
Right. That's great, man.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know when we sit in the fatherhood group, sometimes we got guys that are not having a great experience.
Yeah, I know. You know, I guess I was just fortunate. I don't know what went down with that, but, you know, I mean, all the workers I had, you know.
I think it's something to what you said, though, too. If you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, your relationship with your worker is going to be good.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, if you're doing what you got to do.
Yeah. And I know sometimes we hear guys in our group that are having a difficult time, and we try to reel them in, because sometimes it could be the worker, but I think that I think it's key what you said, to know what you have to do.
Yeah.
And to be doing it is going to make your case go a lot smoother.
Yeah, but I hear stories of some of the other fathers, you know, and some of them are doing the right thing, and they still not still get a worker that's not helping them out. You know what I'm saying? I hear stories, you know, in the groups and stuff, you know, but I just haven't had anything with any of my workers.
Right. Yeah. That's great, man. And I know I wish I would have got a little footage. Maybe I'll come back and get that when we guys were walking to school.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that was just want to commend you on the job that you're doing. I think you shared with me that you're going to be going to take your daughter to the Indian reservation to meet some family on that side, which is a big deal. That's in Arizona, right? Because your daughter's part Native American. So man, just really want to commend you, man, on just the great job you're doing as a dad, as a member of the community, you know, and now, you know, you pulling other dads up now as well, just as an example, you know, that I mean everything that you said, even as we were talking, and plus I've had the really, man, the pleasure to witness you
Oh,
do
yeah.
all this stuff, man, and
Yeah.
watch you struggle.
Oh yeah. You know, I mean, I'm not gonna say it was a cakewalk. You know, I had a lot of hurdles to jump. You know, I had a lot of things to do. You know, I mean, sometimes it got frustrating, but I just hung in there. You
Um, and I watched you struggle with the codependency, and also the difficulty of watching somebody that you love
know,
not be able to kind of finish the game, whatever you want to call it, finish the case
yeah,
plan.
yeah,
But um, that's been difficult too, you know. But you and I kind of shared on that piece too. That it may not happen during the child welfare timeline, but maybe somewhere down the line. Um, but you said something that was key, that you can't be the mother, the case manager for the mother of your child.
yeah. I was trying to be that. Somebody told me that too. Yeah,
It's difficult, man, because we learn so much, and we just
yeah.
want to give.
You want to give it to that person, and if they ain't ready, they're just not ready.
It's just not ready.
They just ain't ready.
But you were ready, man, because you jumped your butt in the program before anybody told you to.
Yeah, I did. You know, I
Yeah.
kind of knew if there was going to be a case. I kind of it don't take really a rocket scientist to figure out if you got to go to court. The Child Protective Services is involved, and you own drugs. The first thing they're gonna do is want you off the drugs. So what you gotta do is go to the program or go to.
Right. And you
But,
want. It sounds like you wanted it too. Like you was kind of.
yeah, well,
You didn't want no more of that life.
no, I didn't.
You said you guys were in the streets.
Yeah, we was homeless, and it started clicking. That's when I knew that we needed to be in a program and get our lives together because there's a child coming. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna be on drugs raising a child.
Yeah.
You know, when I was on drugs, my tweak was way too hardcore to
Right.
be trying to deal with a child at that time.
Right.
You know, that's why I don't use.
Well, man, congratulations, man, on your sobriety.
Well, thank you.
You finding a home and everything, and I appreciate you. Thank you for, taking the time for doing this. I'll let you know this is gonna be fruitful, man, because we'll be giving this to some workers and some other folks, man, that kind of need to hear this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, appreciate you, man.
Okay, that's cool, man. It's all good.
All right, Mr. Littles.
All right.
That was 33 minutes.